State Treasurer David McRae has put hundreds of millions back into the hands of Mississippi's citizens, expanding the state's affordable college and career savings program and also returning record amounts of unclaimed money. Check out how Treasurer David McRae's office can help you, your business, or your organization. Treasury.ms.gov.
Buy dirt, find the one you can't live without. Get a ring.
Good morning, Southwest Mississippi. We hope everybody is doing well this morning. Welcome to Buying Dirt, where we talk about everything outdoor and real estate related. Before we get started this morning, I want to take just a minute to thank our sponsors. By the way, this sponsor list is not complete yet. We still have some open slots for sponsors. And what we're doing is we're trying to find individuals and businesses of a particular skill set that relates to real estate and the outdoors. So if you're listening, if you want to become a sponsor, you can reach out to me a little bit later, and I'll be glad to visit with you and talk with you about the pricing levels. Our first sponsor is 601 Sports, Bruce Gray, Realtree Land Pro, Casco Cleaning Solutions, Chase Buckles Mortgage Advisor, Culberson Cattle Company, Culberson's Concrete Pumping Service, Kirk Douglas Heating and Cooling, Levi Patton Farm Bureau Agent, Southern Ag Credit, the Southwest Mississippi NDA Branch, the Southwest Mississippi Wildlife Expo, and last but not least, United Country McDaniel Gray Realty. So again, if you're listening, if you want to be a sponsor, reach out to us at United Country McDaniel Gray Realty, and we'll get you on the sponsor list. We have a couple of special guests with us this morning. We have Alan and Becky Morgan. How are y'all?
We're fine. How are you?
We're good. I'm good. I'm doing well. So we're going to talk a little bit this morning about hunting. We always talk about hunting a lot. We should probably talk about more about hunting and fishing than we do real estate on this show, but that's okay. It all ties in together. Alan is a local taxidermist. Alan, how many years you been doing
Roughly 63.
Oh, wow. And Becky, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, Alan and I have been married for almost 30 years, and I did not hunt or know anything about taxidermy until that's how we met. My son had killed a fox squirrel, and I took it to Alan to have it mounted. Thought I never would get it back. And when I called to ask about it, and when I went to pick it up, then everything just kind of snowballed from there.
Well, that's great. I did not know this story. That's great. Well, tell us how your deer season was.
It was horrible. There's no two ways about it. And the general consensus I hear from almost everybody is it was a terrible year. I've talked to one friend a couple of weeks ago, and he said he had one of the best years he's ever had, but he's the exception to the rule. Yeah. And what has happened this year is we just had a bumper acorn crop, which is even the persimmon trees dropped acorns. I mean, it seems like that. But and there was another factor too that most people don't even think about is the drought a few years ago. All the dead trees, there's so much more sunlight hitting the ground.
That's right.
There was so much more vegetation in the woods, and basically a food plot is a last resort for a deer. He's going to eat what's in the woods first.
That's right. And
the people that had good years hunted in the woods. The people that hunted a food plot with a pile of corn or a feeder, they didn't do too good.
Yeah.
And another thing that I noticed this year is the antler size was bigger this year than it's been in a long time. The average deer was bigger. And I credit the added browse from the drought as being a reason why, because they had 2 years of added browse to feed up and grow better. So,
and if you're not familiar with what Alan is talking about, get in your car or your truck and drive across Southwest Mississippi, really central Mississippi, all over, and you'll see a bunch of standing dead pine trees, and that's from that drought and beetle infestation we had. Well, you're right, all that sunlight's reaching the ground, and you multiply that times thousands of acres across our region of the state. That's a lot of acreage that's now in good wildlife habitat forage.
In fact, the Game and Fish is estimating the deer kill was down 20 to 25% this year. And they're also saying it could be tough on the turkeys this year, too, because there's still plenty of acorns in the woods.
For the same reason, yeah.
Same reason.
Turkey hunting's hard enough as it is. You have to make it a little bit harder.
I agree with that 100%.
Well, hopefully, I guess who knows? Next year we could have another great acorn crop, but it doesn't always happen that way. It ebbs and flows and changes.
Well, what I'm kind of guessing is with the deer kill being down, that's just going to mean there's that many more deer get an extra year's growth on them. So hopefully we'll have big antlers again next year too.
Yeah, I think so.
We'll
and
see.
on top of that, all these does that have made it through this really exceptional, really good winter with all the abundant food, their fawns are going to just have a really great head start.
They should,
so it should add up.
The
down
drought's
road.
got a plus side, and
That's right.
But unless you own pine trees.
That's right. All right, Alan and Becky, let me ask y'all a question. Let's say someone's listening to the show today and they killed a pretty good buck this year, and they're kind of on the fence whether they want to get it mounted or not. But, well, let's just back up. Let's say that next year somebody wants to go hunt and they kill a good deer. I mean, give us some tips of what they need to do.
Well, there's basically three factors that determine what you get back from your taxidermist. And one thing people don't really consider is, number one, the condition of the animal before you get it.
That's a good point.
And number two is the condition and time it takes from the time it's killed till it gets to the taxidermist. And, of course, number three is the taxidermist himself. But the first thing, the condition of the animal, you got to realize, for example, bucks, they fight. And it's not unusual to have broken tines, but it's definitely not unusual to have really scarred up capes.
That's right.
You'll have infection from fighting, and that can make a difference in the quality of the hair. The quality of the hair can be really bad, especially from your deer from Kansas, Illinois, wherever where they have the standing corn and bucks are rutting and they're chasing through the cornfields, and it actually looks like you just took a pair of scissors and cut the hair.
You actually showed me one of those mounts at your office, and it was pretty amazing to see that.
Yeah, and people don't realize that, but it all makes a difference. So
That's right.
Anyway, like I said, the condition of the animal before you shoot it is important. But what is more important is what you do when you get it out of the woods. And I've got to use this as an example. This has probably been in the 1980s or something like that. There was this man who was really, he and his friends are registered rednecks. There's no two ways about it. And they were going to Colorado for the first time elk hunting. And all they had heard about was how big elk are and how much trouble they are once you shoot them, that you have to quarter them. And it's just a pain to get them out of the woods. And he brought me an elk back, and he said, but I showed everybody. He said, we didn't quarter this thing, we drug it out. And it didn't have any hair at all left on either shoulder. So you could tell he had drug it out. But anyway, like I said, you have to use common sense when it comes to taking care of the animal that you want to get mounted. You have to know how to skin it, which this year, for the first time in many, many years, the capes came in exceptionally well this year for the most part. I don't know if it's because of YouTube or what it was, but people knew how to skin the brisket, which is a very, very important part.
Right.
So that made a big difference. But then another problem that people run into is they kill the big deer, and naturally they want to show it off.
That's right.
So they'll throw it in the back of the truck and they'll ride around with it for 2 or 3 days or however long. And I tell people that you need to treat something that you want to mount like a steak you buy in the store. Don't throw that steak in the back of the pickup and ride around for 2 or 3 days and then think you can go in and cook it and it's going to be great. So, use some care.
That's right.
Either get it to a taxidermist or get it in your freezer as soon as convenient.
Right.
Now, also, they can burn in the freezer, because if you just throw him in the freezer and sit him there for 6 or 8 months trying to make up your mind, he can be freezer burned.
Yeah, and that's what I want to pass along to some listeners this morning who may be listening. Maybe they killed a deer early in November or October during bow season, and they still have it in the freezer, and they're kind of on the fence. But they really need to make a decision pretty quickly, don't they?
They need to make up their mind. Now, you can, if it's wrapped up really, really well in garbage bags, 2 or 3 garbage bags, you have an extended period of time.
Okay.
But it's not indefinite.
Right.
I've had deer that were in the freezer for 3 or 4 months come in freezer burn because of where they were put in the freezer and where they were wrapped. I've had them come in 2 years in the freezer and they be in perfect shape, just depending on the care taken.
That's right. What about in terms of turkeys fish and that kind of thing?
Well, turkeys, birds especially, you have to take really good care of the feathers.
Right.
Because you break a feather, and that's tough to fix.
Yeah.
And fish, the best thing to do with a fish, if it's going to be a period of time before you get it to your taxidermist, a wet towel. Wrap it in a wet towel, put it in a plastic bag, and freeze it.
I remember years ago people talking about wrapping them in newspaper, but that's not really what you need to do. Is that right?
What the thing is in the freezer, they're dehydrate. They're freezer burn. If you have something wet around them, they're not going to freezer burn.
All right, they keep that moisture.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, great. Well, Becky, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. Now, you mentioned earlier that you knew nothing about hunting when you married Alan. Mm-hmm. That has changed, hasn't it?
Quite a bit.
Yeah,
because you are an excellent
Well,
hunter.
Matt Shell did an article years ago for the paper on my starting to hunt, and it was called "If You Can't Beat 'Em, Join 'Em." So when Alan and I got married, I had 2 sons still at home. One was like 15, and the other one was like 12, something like that. And Alan got them into hunting. Well, after about, 3 or 4 years of staying at home while they're all gone, having a good time, and I'm standing there staying home on the weekends cleaning and cooking and picking up after everybody and washing clothes. I said, this is for the birds. I'm fixing to go have fun, too. So I told Alan, I said, you need to take me and let me shoot your rifle. He said, what for? I said, because I think I want to start hunting. Well, he ate that up. He loved it. So he got me a gun of my own, just like his, and I started, and I hadn't quit. A few years ago, I said, well, if I can make it till I'm 60 years old hunting, I'll be doing good. Well, I turned 60, and I kept hunting. Well, I guess 2 or 3 years ago, I didn't have an accident, but I almost had one coming down my ladder out of my stand. I missed the bottom step and kind of fell a little bit. And so Alan built me some stairs. I have stairs going up to my stand now.
with rails.
So now I said, well, if I can make it till 70, I'll be doing good. Well, I've made it to 70. And I'm still hunting, but I don't know how much longer.
Oh, that's great.
But it's fun. We have a real kind of little competition between us.
She's competitive. I'm not, but she does everything wrong.
I love it.
She kills bigger deer than me every year, too. So,
So we have a good time.
So give us an idea of the largest buck that you've taken.
Oh, well, I guess it was probably 15 years ago. We were hunting with some friends at Rodney. And it was a cold, cold afternoon. I mean, wind was coming across those fields, 90 to nothing. It was freezing. And I late that afternoon, I had a good buck come out, and he came right in front of me. Well, I wasn't used to where I was hunting, so, the windows weren't in the right place. The chair wasn't in the right place. I was really in a bind trying to get a shot at anything. Well, he came right in front of my stand, and I couldn't get on him. So he went back in the brush, in the, what do you call it,
CRP.
Yeah.
So, and a little while later, I heard he was hunting in a stand way down from me, but I heard him shoot. And I said, oh, no, he's done shot that deer, the one I was going to get. And so I sat there, and I waited, and right before dark, I saw that deer. I saw antlers. Couldn't see the body. I just saw antlers, and I said, that's him. And he finally eased out and started and went the other way. and I shot. Well, I didn't know if I hit him or not. I lost him after I shot.
Yeah.
But I knew where he was. Well, so it got dark, and there's lots of hunters, and they're going to pick everybody up. And I saw him down there where Alan was, and it was flashlights. I said, I thought they never would come to me. Well, finally, Alan climbs up the ladder to help me get down, and he said, "Did you see anything?" And I said, "Well, I shot. You didn't hear me?" He said, "No." He said, "Would you get it?" I said, "I don't know." So I said, "I know where he was when I shot." So we started walking that way, and as soon as we crossed over, one of the guys that was with us said, or Alan said, "I smell it." So he didn't go probably
That's
20
pretty good.
yards.
164-inch 10-point.
Oh, my gosh.
He was beautiful. Perfect.
That's wonderful.
So
That's
that's the biggest
wonderful.
one probably ever.
That's
for
pretty
me.
good.
But yeah, he was wonderful. He
That
was
is
pretty.
great. Well, Alan, I want to ask you one more question before we leave, and we got just a couple of minutes here. But I've been living in Brookhaven in South Mississippi for about 25 years. And when I first moved here, I looked for a taxidermist, and I ran across you. Went out there and visited with you. I think I had something I wanted to mount. And at that time, I was talking to you about going out of state and hunting, and I was kind of on the fence about it. And you gave me some advice. You may not remember this, but you said, look, save your money and go do it. I promise you, you'll be glad you did. If you don't, you're going to wake up one day, you're going to be too old to go do it. You'll have the money, but you won't physically be able to do it.
If you can wait till you can afford it, you're too old to go.
You're too
That's
old
what
to
I tell
go.
people.
And it was some of the best advice, and that's been 25 plus years ago. And by golly, I did that. I said, I'm going to go hunt next year, so I'm just going to set money aside. I'm going to do an extra job or two or whatever I have to do to make some money so that when that time comes, I don't have to stress about it. I got it.
Plus, it's getting so much more complicated.
Yeah,
now
it
to
is.
Go out of state. When it's been many, many years since I went out of state hunting to Colorado or wherever elk hunting. But when I went, you could go to a sporting goods store and buy a license and tags.
Yeah.
Can't do that anymore.
That's right. It is a lot more complicated, but it's still doable. And you just have to. So if you're listening today and you're kind of on the fence, so maybe you're in your 40s or 50s or whatever, it's never too late. You can go. Just plan for it and enjoy it.
On that note, a little advice that I gave Alan several years ago. I was in banking for years, and it's all about saving money. And Alan had always leased land to hunt on, which is fine. But he had to give the lease up years ago, and I told him he had gotten some inheritance money and was invested in the stock market. I told him, I said, he was fussing about losing his, I'm losing. I said, you need to find you a piece of property and buy it with that money. I said, because land's not going anywhere.
That's right.
It's going to stay there.
That's right.
So he took my advice, and we found this piece of property, and we love it. We absolutely love it.
I know y'all do. Well, thank y'all very much for being here today. Thank you for the advice, and we appreciate it. And good luck this turkey season. I hope you get out and enjoy the woods and have a good time.
Thank you.
All right, appreciate y'all. Thank y'all very much, and until next week, we'll see you. Y'all be safe.